and the Hydra that is currently carrying out these rescue efforts. Not to forget the fact that the DNA sampling of all of those who've lost their lives is going to be extremely challenging, given their bodies have been charred beyond recognition.
Yeah, as you said, the death toll is likely to increase because as of now 36 officially declared. Still some of the dead bodies also removed, but they are trying to identify the people. In fact, as of now, because after this explosion, many dead bodies were burnt in that particular fire. So they are in the unidentified situation. They have to go for the DNA test or some other test to identify the particular dead body or particular person who was lost their lives in this entire in the incident. So they have to go for the DNA test kind of a thing. And moreover, under debris, there are a lot of dead bodies also there in that under the debris. So it takes at least 48 hours to clear entire debris of that particular building, which was collapsed due to the impact of that blast. So I have to see what turn will it take. At least it takes another 48 hours to clear entire debris and have to wait how many dead bodies will come. And the relatives and family members of the person who was missing, who was unidentified, they are coming to the company premises and they are arguing with the police authorities and other authorities also to show their person where exactly he is. We are unable to find in the hospital. We are unable to find even the mortuary. Where is my person? Please show me. That's what exactly argument conversation with the authorities. And they are very much in the anger, and of course they are very much in the it's very much in angry to see their relatives or see their people who was lost their lives or who was missing in this particular incident.
Many thanks to you, Ramana, for bringing us all those latest details. With that, let's quickly shift focus over to Karnataka, getting in some breaking inputs. In fact, trouble further mounting for the Siddaramaiah government as the Karnataka High Court has now ordered the CBI probe into Valmiki's SC Development Corporation scam, as the court has now asked the SIT to transfer investigation records to the CBI. A comprehensive probe has now been ordered by the High Court. So far, the CBI probe was restricted to certain lapses on part of the bank. So what we are learning is that the Karnataka High Court has now issued orders to the SIT to submit their probe details and to the CBI with regards to the Valmiki Development Corporation scam. The court has asked the SIT to transfer its investigation records to CBI. Now remember, so far what we are learning is that the CBI probe was restricted to certain lapses on part of the bank. Shocking details had just emerged few days ago, where we had learned that there was still money laundering taking place under this entire corporation. Now, all right, so in the latest inputs that we are bringing to you right now, there were lapses on part of the bank as well. And in the latest that's coming in is that the Karnataka High Court has ordered the CBI probe into the Valmiki Development Corporation scam. Let's quickly go across to Harish, who's joining us with more inputs on that news story. Harish, many are wondering that the CBI was already probing this, and what is the need for CBI to step in? Shed more light. Right, we'll try and reconnect with Harish, but what we can tell you as far as the Valmiki Corporation case is concerned, that the CBI was also directed last year in November to submit details of the probe that they had conducted so far as the FIR registered based on the Union Bank of India's complaint. And that is why important to highlight that the CBI probe was limited to the lapses on part of the bank as far as Union Bank of India is concerned. And now as far as the SIT findings go, the High Court has instructed CBI to take over those findings which have been gathered by the SIT so far. This is with regards to the Valmiki Corporation case. Reports had been highlighting how the scam was still very much on, with money being laundered, and now the Karnataka High Court has asked the SIT categorically to go ahead and submit its probe findings to the CBI. Harish joins us live with more inputs. Harish, take us through now that the CBI will be expected to take those probe details from the SIT. Is this an indication that the CBI will completely take over this entire probe?
Absolutely. This is a comprehensive probe ordered by the Karnataka government. Remember, the CBI so far was restricted to probing certain aspects of those bank transactions because they had that power to take on any probe, any matter that had a significant amount of money that was at stake, especially from a PSU bank. Under that domain, they had taken over that probe or started that probe. Right now, what's happened is the Karnataka High Court has ordered a comprehensive probe, which means it won't be limited to just the bank transactions that have happened. It will look at the conspiracy, it will look at the people involved in the conspiracy, the possible money laundering angle. Remember, the ED has already said there is money laundering. The money was used for the elections in Bellary. So all those aspects will be probed. The involvement of the former minister, B. Nagendra, will be probed. Also, the involvement or the possible involvement of other Congress functionaries and MLAs also is now under the scope of this investigation by the CBI, and that's why we are saying that this is trouble for Karnataka government. The ED was probing it, but the ED was probing it only from the angle of money laundering under the PMLA Act and various other sections. Now you will see the CBI looking at corruption. You will see the CBI looking at conspiracy, not just of officials, but former ministers and possibly sitting MLAs of the Congress party.
All right, Harish, also, there were growing concerns for the CBI to completely take over this entire case also because the scam apparently was still continuing, money was still being laundered. Take us through all those latest reports that have now come to the forefront.
Well, remember, the allegation is that this was a scam that involved more than 180 crores. A huge chunk of that money was recovered by the government. So anywhere around 80 crores is what still was under the scanner. And this was a transaction that had come under the scanner after a suicide of one of the officials of this institution. And that's how it came to the forefront. But what is problematic is what has come out in the last few weeks. Looks like it wasn't just a one-off scam that had taken place where money was illegally taken out from this ST Development Corporation account, transferred to various other unauthorized accounts and then laundered from there. In the last few weeks, we've seen allegations that there were bogus loans that were granted to people from the Valmiki community. That money was transferred to account that did not belong to the beneficiaries but was created in their name under bogus documents and signatures, and that money was looted, was the allegation by the BJP. So what now the CBI probe does is that it widens the scope of this investigation, not just look at in-depth into this scam. Possibly the access to some of the documents of the Valmiki ST Development Corporation will mean that you will have the CBI possibly looking at other discrepancies within the books of this corporation.
Many thanks to you, Harish, for sharing all those details with us. With that, let's now shift focus over to the hill state. In news coming in from Himachal Pradesh, where heavy rainfall has wreaked havoc, the death toll has now reached 44 in just the last 10 days. The State Disaster Management Authority has reported that over 250 roads still remain blocked. More than 600 power transformers are non-functional and over 100 water supply schemes have been severely affected. Authorities are working on restoration efforts, but the continuous rain is still making relief operations difficult across several districts. All right, and joining me live on the broadcast is the Himachal Pradesh CM himself, Mr. Sukhvinder Singh Sukhu. Mr. Singh, हमसे जुड़ने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. सबसे पहले तो पूछना चाहूँगी हिमाचल की क्या हालत है फ्लड्स और लैंडस्लाइड्स के बाद. पावर और वाटर सप्लाईज काफ़ी हिट हुई हैं. इस बारे में हमें आप खुद क्या जानकारी दे सकते हैं?
हिमाचल प्रदेश में काफ़ी तबाही हुई है और अभी तक की बारिश में 10 क्लाउड बस्ट हो चुके हैं और पेयजल योजनाओं को भी नुकसान हुआ है और जो हमारे बिजली के प्रोजेक्ट सरकार के है उसको भी बड़ा नुकसान हुआ है. नेशनल हाईवे रोड भी टूटे गए हैं. तो मेरा ये मानना है कि हमारी सरकार प्रयास कर रही है. बिजली की सप्लाई कुछ जगह बाधा पड़ी है और इस दृष्टिकोण से हम देख रहे हैं कि उसे तुरंत प्रभाव से कैसे बहाल किया जाए।
तो जो बिजली को लेके बाधाएं आ रही हैं, इसीलिए पूछना चाहूँगी सुखविंदर जी, आप रेस्टोरेशन ऑपरेशंस के बारे में क्या बता सकते हैं, कैसे चल रहे हैं अभी जितना भी रेस्टोरेशन ऑपरेशन का एफर्ट है?
अधिकारियों से दिशा निर्देश दिए हैं और अभी तक सबसे पहले हमें बचाव कार्य करना है। 287 के करीब लोगों को बचाया गया है और 10 के करीब क्लाउड बस्ट हुए हैं। अभी तक 4 जो डेथ है वो उसकी कंफर्म हुई है, बाकी कुछ लोग मिसिंग है, उसकी जानकारी हम प्राप्त कर रहे हैं।
और जितना ये डैमेज हुआ है, इतनी भारी वर्षा को लेके इस डैमेज को कंट्रोल करने के लिए सरकार ने क्या स्टेप्स लिए हैं, ज़रा बताएंगे?
वो बारिश का क्या पता कब क्लाउड बस्ट हो जाए, पर मेरा ये मानना है कि जो भी है वो नदी के से कम 1 किलोमीटर की दूरी बनाए, नालों से 1 किलोमीटर की दूरी बनाए। बाकी कोई ऐसी बात नहीं है। लैंडस्लाइड्स तो पहाड़ के स्वभाव में वो होता ही है, तो लैंडस्लाइड जब होता है तो पता लग जाता है, क्योंकि धीरे धीरे वो मिट्टी निकलने लगती है। तो अभी कोई रोड्स टूटे हैं, जो नदी के किनारे वाले रोड्स हैं उनको नुकसान हुआ है, जो ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में जाने वाले रोड हैं उनको नुकसान हुआ है। तकरीबन 500 करोड़ से ज़्यादा का नुकसान अभी तक आकलन किया गया है।
सुखविंदर जी, NHAI के एक कर्मचारी ने कंप्लेंट जारी की है। उन्होंने दर्ज किया है कि उनके साथ मारापीटी की गई थी आप ही की सरकार के एक मिनिस्टर द्वारा। आपकी गडकरी जी से इस बारे में कोई भी बात हुई है इस पूरे असॉल्ट केस को लेके? आपके मंत्री, उनके एड्स इस पूरे केस में इन्वॉल्व थे। आपका क्या एक्शन है अभी तक इस पूरे केस को लेकर? NHAI के चेयरपर्सन ने भी काफ़ी आपत्ति जताई है इस पूरे इंसिडेंट को लेकर।
आज सुबह मेरी माननीय नितिन गडकरी जी से बात हुई है। हमने कहा है कि कानून के दायरे के मुताबिक जो भी होगा हम उस पर कार्रवाई करेंगे।
सुखविंदर जी, हमसे जुड़ने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। With that, let's now shift focus over to Tamil Nadu in a tragic incident at a police station in Sivaganga district. 27-year-old temple worker and a security guard, Ajit Kumar, died in police custody, sparking widespread protests from relatives and locals. The Madras High Court has ordered a judicial probe into this entire matter. The court also made a scathing observation about the state police, saying the cops are drunk on power. The Tamil Nadu BJP president has strongly condemned the alleged custodial death, highlighting concerns over police conduct. Authorities have suspended 6 police officers and 5 were arrested for the murder of Ajit Kumar, who was reportedly thrashed by cops on Saturday in connection with a theft case. The post-mortem report now reveals that Kumar suffered a brain hemorrhage and over 30 contusion injuries. The opposition has slammed the DMK government. The BJP has already written to the human rights body NHRC demanding an inquiry. CNN News 18 has accessed the exclusive and shocking footage which reveals the torture inflicted on Kumar.
When Mr. Stalin was an opposition leader, he very clearly said in Satanaguram case that it is injustice done to those people, the custodial deaths, and he said he is having sleepless nights because of this. And also he added that the chief minister, the then chief minister, has to take responsibility on or accountability on this. And also he said that this government has to go, the chief minister has to resign. The same thing applies to this chief minister also. Just because you have become a chief minister, it doesn't differ. So I think if at all Mr. Stalin can recollect what he has said 5 years back, he should have resigned by this time after this incident has happened. This is the 24th incident, 24th lockup death in the last 4 years. This is shameful. This government should have gone by this time. This government has failed. We strongly condemn this government.
So let's now dig into the basics of this entire investigation and take you through what the autopsy report of Ajit Kumar reveals so far. The first finding is that he died of a brain hemorrhage. The second finding indicates that he suffered over 30 contusions across his entire body. The third finding indicates that there were signs of torture on his body. And the fourth finding indicates that there was blunt force that was used which caused trauma to Ajit Kumar's body. The fifth finding is that he suffered acute injuries in even to his vital organs. Tragic details now surfacing in that autopsy report. Let's quickly take this with Purnima Murli, who's joining me live on the broadcast. So Purnima, the autopsy report in itself is direct testament to the fact that this was a custodial death. Something that now is also being raked up by the opposition. Take us through what the opposition is flagging off in terms of concerns with regards to how custodial deaths are on the rise under the DMK government.
Well, some of the questions raised by the opposition include the following. They say that only on the 28th was an FIR registered. Why was the security guard taken for questioning when there was no official complaint that was registered? Number two, what was the link between the complainant and the ruling government? Why was he beaten to death? Because earlier they did not reveal much, but only after the autopsy report was action taken against police officers. 6 police officers were suspended. Yesterday, late night, they were arrested. Today, the SP and the DSP of Sivagangai district, they've been transferred. They've been put on compulsory wait list. So, why action was taken only after the autopsy report revealed that yes, it was only because of custodial torture that led to the death of Ajit Kumar. And also, what was the link between the complainant and the ruling government? Why was he taken to an undisclosed location and was beaten? Today, the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court was hearing the case, and the judge, while reading the autopsy report, said that this was a brutal attack. Every part of Ajit Kumar's body was thrashed by a police. Police brutality was evident, and also chili powder was used at the back, mouth and neck of Ajit Kumar. So why was all this done? On what basis was he beaten? Why was he beaten? So that was a question that was asked by the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court as well, which is why
You know, Purnima, you've just raised some very critical points, which I'd also like to take our viewers through, because remember, there are several questions that still remain unanswered. The moot question being, is this a custodial death or even a murder that's exposing a cover-up? Because why did Ajit Kumar have over 30 contusions on his body? Can a mere fall even result in such severe injuries? Remember, it was a fall which was being blamed for by the cops. Were attempts made to provide timely treatment at all? Why there was no internal probe by the police department in the first place, and why is a judicial probe? Why was there a need for a judicial probe even being ordered by the Madras High Court now? Were senior cops aware of this brutal assault? Were CCTVs non-functional or even tampered with? Remember, these are all questions that have also been raised by the opposition, including the BJP, including the AIADMK as well. Purnima continues to stay with us. So Purnima also shed light on why the opposition is claiming that there's a larger cover-up over here.
Well, two things that the opposition parties are raising. One, they allege that there has been a link between the complainant and the DMK government, which is why the temple security guard was beaten to death. And number two, the allegation is that the DMK had paid the family to silence them. They offered money to silence them because it was the family that first said that yes, he died because of the custodial torture. So so these were some of the allegations put forth by the BJP as well as the AIADMK. They wanted a special team to investigate for the truth to come out. And what link did the complainant have with the DMK government that the temple security guard was thrashed? And they alleged that family was paid to silence them to ensure that this does not become a headline.
Many thanks to you, Purnima, for bringing us all those inputs. With that, we're slipping into a quick break, but we do have some good news to share, as your favorite news channel is now available at your fingertips. The News 18 app has been upgraded for a news experience like never before. Top headlines, succinct analysis and stories that have the world's attention on social media, all now available at a click's distance. Download the News 18 app using the QR code you see on your screens and immerse yourself in the News 18 experience.
so much content, so many faces. Do you want to be standing out here and watching them? Or you want to be part of this entire creation of content? If you think you have it in you, come create for us.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
And we are getting a piece of breaking news. EM Jaishankar calls out Pakistan in the United Nations. He said that any state-sponsored terrorism must be exposed. He said this at United Nations Anti-Terrorism Exhibition. Jaishankar urges global community to act against terrorism. That is a big statement that is coming in from External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, where he has called out Pakistan at the United Nations. And we are joined by Akansha Saroop on this broadcast. Akansha, that is a strong statement coming in from S. Jaishankar. How do you see this?
Absolutely. Harsh must keep in mind that he's directly taken a jibe, or he's directly indicated Pakistan's role in the Pahalgam terror attack when he said that no impunity should be given to terrorists, no treating them as proxies, no yielding to nuclear blackmail. This is exactly what even the US had hinted at, that there was a massive threat, which is why India had, there was an understanding also that had been made. And any state sponsorship must be exposed and must be countered. So important to highlight that the External Affairs Minister is making that point at the UN Assembly on anti-terrorism and urged the global community to act. He also referred to that resolution which was passed by the UN 5 weeks ago, condemning the terror act in Pahalgam on 22nd of April. So he wants to make a point to the UN, to the larger international community. It's also part of the broader push under Operation Sindoor, soon after our multi-party delegation went visiting across the globe. So important to also highlight that the Pak Army Chief Asim Munir was in the United States. He met Donald Trump, and Saturday at the naval parade, at the passing out parade of the Navy in Pakistan, he's gone on to talk about how what India may treat as terrorism is a legitimate struggle for them. They will continue to back terrorists diplomatically, militarily, in whatever way possible. So Asim Munir again, instigating the sentiments over there and playing the rabble-rouser that he has. So for the External Affairs Minister to make that point is a very significant one. It's also part of his visit where, remember, he's attending that Quad foreign ministerial meet at the behest of the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. And it's also a reminder to the United States that if they regard India as a strategic ally, one that is an integral partner to the United States in the Quad grouping, then they will also have to address concerns of India when it comes to terrorism, because remember, India is going to be playing the Quad chair this year.
Right. Akansha, I would request you to stay on with us as we are getting another piece of breaking news. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt on Monday confirmed that the United States and India are close to finalizing a trade agreement. Her comments came shortly after Trump voiced optimism about finalizing the trade pact with India. And we'll listen in to the White House Press Secretary's bite.
Yes, the president said that last week, and it remains true. I actually just spoke to our Secretary of Commerce about it. He was in the Oval Office with the president. They are finalizing these agreements, and you'll hear from the president and his team, his trade team, very soon when it comes to India.
And we have Akansha on this broadcast. Akansha, does this mean a trade deal is right around the corner between US and India?
Absolutely. And when they are saying that India is a strategic ally and that Donald Trump and Prime Minister Modi share a good relationship, Caroline Leavitt has also highlighted how she's been in touch with their Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, and he was in the Oval Office with the President finalizing agreements, is only an indication that perhaps they are in...
Welcome back. In a major development following the tragic Bengaluru stampede, the Central Administrative Tribunal or CAT has held IPL franchise Royal Challengers Bangalore responsible for the June 4 stampede outside the Chinnaswamy Stadium. According to the tribunal's order accessed by CNN News 18, RCB posted the celebration invite on social media without informing the police or even seeking prior permission, triggering an overwhelming crowd with no time for authorities to prepare. The court noted that police resources were already stretched due to another event at the Vidhan Saudha. It adds, and let me quote, police personnel are also human beings. They are neither God nor magicians. They do not have the magic powers like Aladdin or Chirag, that they can fulfill any wish by rubbing a finger. The Central Tribunal also revoked the suspension of IPS officers Vikash Kumar Vikash over the stampede and the other two IPS officers involved as well. Congress Chief Minister is, however, mulling to challenge this order now. Let's listen in to what Siddaramaiah said.
ಈಗ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ CAT ಅಂದರೆ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟಿವ್ ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯುನಲ್ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಪೀಲ್ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇದೆಯಾ?
All right, Harish is joining me on the phone line with more details. Harish, share with us the observations that the CAT has made, particularly with regards to how it is the RCB responsible for the large gathering, according to the CAT.
Well, that's the observation of the CAT now, that these officials can't be held responsible for this. The CAT believes that at least in Vikas Kumar Vikas's case, that it was the RCB and its communication that resulted in 4 to 5 lakh people gathering near the stadium and at the Vidhan Saudha, and various communication that has taken place between the government, the RCB and the police administration also has been verified or at least scrutinized by the CAT. And after going through all that is what the CAT has said in its order, saying that these officials, or at least this particular IPS officer, can't be held responsible for that, and went on to revoke his suspension. At the same time, advising the government to review the suspension of 2 other IPS officers, leaving the government in a spot of bother now.
Harish, at the same time, the CAT has also observed that there's been no convincing material to suspend these police officials, which now, raises questions about the Siddaramaiah government. If there was no convincing material enough, then why were they even suspended in the first place?
Absolutely. Various arguments indicating that there was not even a prima facie investigation or internal probe that could pin the blame on these IPS officers for the government to take action, and this has been done on the verbal advice of the Chief Minister, and that is why perhaps this suspension order did not really hold its strength within the CAT and was revoked by the CAT, and that advice going in to relook at other 2 suspensions as well. Now Siddaramaiah is talking about challenging this order of the CAT, but let's also not forget that the popular opinion is against this decision of the Karnataka government to suspend these 3 IPS officers. Many felt that they were made the scapegoat. In that backdrop, when the government wants to once again go ahead and challenge this order, is something we'll have to see in the coming days.
All right, stay with me, Harish, because our next breaking news story will also require your inputs. Getting in some more breaking inputs from Karnataka. This is with regards to the heart attacks in Hassan district. Amid the lens on all of these cases, CM Siddaramaiah has said that it cannot be denied that the hasty approval and distribution of the COVID vaccine to the public could also be a reason for these deaths, as several studies worldwide have recently indicated that COVID vaccines could be a major cause for the increasing number of heart attacks. Before BJP criticizes us on this matter, they should ask their own conscience. Harish continues to stay with us. Let's quickly go back to Harish. Harish, is this now also a jibe coming in from the Karnataka CM, who of course is holding the previous government responsible? Because remember, that's when the COVID vaccines got distributed.
Well, these are some of the aspects that this new committee will look into. What are the reasons that these deaths have taken place, and whether any of these aspects have contributed to the sudden spike in the number of heart attack cases that have taken place in Karnataka, especially in the Hassan district.
All right, but as we highlighted, as you rightly said, that this will be now taken up by the review committee. So far, has the government shared any finding with regards to what could have led to these number of heart attacks in just a matter of few days?
Well, there are at least 40 different cases in the last 20 odd days. I beg your pardon, more than 20 cases in the last 40 odd days. And if you look at the overall figure, also has been mentioned by the Hassan District Administration. What needs to be seen now is if these deaths are in line with the overall deaths that other districts in Karnataka are witnessing, and the contribution of heart attack related or cardiac related deaths to the overall death tally in the state. These are aspects that this committee will now have to look into, and the fact that some of these cases of heart attack have taken place outside Hassan, but people from Hassan, that is also something that will be looked into. There are indications from the Hassan Institute of Medical Science which is saying that there could be some sort of a genetic issue that needs to be probed as well. So it will require more than 10 days for this committee to look into all these aspects, but perhaps you might see some sort of a preliminary report that will be given in the 10 days.
Is there a political blame game also that's on right now, Harish? Because remember, Siddaramaiah has accused the BJP of using this entire incident of, that the BJP is using this only for political gains.
Yes, in fact, the BJP blamed the government for not doing enough doing enough over this issue of heart attack deaths. And that's why you have a response that's now coming from Siddaramaiah, who is saying that it cannot be denied that the hasty approval and distribution of COVID vaccine could also be a reason for these deaths. And he's saying that there are several studies worldwide which have recently indicated that these vaccines could be a cause for increasing the number of heart attacks. So he's saying that before BJP criticizes the state government on this matter, they should also ask their conscience. So that's a response that has come in after R. Ashoka and others questioned the government on what they were doing.
Many thanks to you, Harish. I'm afraid I'll have to leave it at that because I'm also joined in by Mr. Ashok Gowda of the BJP. Mr. Gowda, now the Karnataka CM raising fingers at COVID vaccines and holding them responsible for the number of heart attacks that have taken place in Hassan. I'd like your thoughts.
See, primarily, Siddaramaiah is not a doctor. He has a son who has done medicine in graduation in medicine. You should have spoken to him before giving this kind of a statement, point number one. Why? Because there are, in Hassan, the meat consumption, in specific, red meat consumption is very high, which Siddaramaiah probably does not know, or knowingly he wants to blame the center. As well, there are cardiac arrests and heart attacks which have been constantly happening across the state in Karnataka. What kind of an infrastructure, being a CM for 7 years in the past time, he has done for Karnataka? In fact, his own son was allotted a diagnostic center in Victoria Hospital around 2015-16 times. And in spite of that diagnostic center, what kind of measures were taken to make sure that there is a first aid treatment which will be given, as well to avoid cardiac arrest and awareness about the cardiac arrest? What kind of an initiatives have been taken? Forget about all these things. When maternal deaths were happening, I was also part of the Satya Shodhana Samiti or the fact-finding committee. What we found was, out of 1,650 essential tablets which are supposed to be in the district centers, there were hardly 120 which were found. In Taluka centers, 1,200 and odd supposed to be were there, and we found that less than 80 tablets were there. 80 essential medicines were there. Same thing with PHUs. See, Karnataka government has been failing even to procure the medicines and give it to the district hospitals, taluka hospitals, or PHUs. With all their failures, just to cover up their failures, they are trying to blame the center and the COVID vaccine. Probably might be. We don't know. I'm not an expert. I'm not a medical doctor. But what we have heard is there will be a minute impact because of the COVID vaccine.
Or they're also saying that for your own political gains, Mr. Gowda, they're also accusing the BJP of, milking this entire controversy and incident in Assam for your own political gains. Siddaramaiah has also urged you to, in fact, dig into your own conscience. He's saying that you're trying to capitalize on this and using this for your own political gains. How do you respond to that allegation coming in?
The death has a political agenda. Congress government's mistakes are more than enough for us just to question the intention behind the Congress government and the Congress government activities. See, they are struggling even to govern the state. If they are struggling, they should quit the power and go. Instead of saying that every time they say BJP is responsible, BJP is responsible. Okay. If BJP is responsible, they should say that, okay, BJP is responsible, let them only rule, and we are not responsible. For anything, he says, I don't have funds because central government has not allotted funds. Okay. In spite of central government giving funds, he does not speak about it. Out of 1 rupee which goes from Karnataka, more than 57 paisa comes back via project funding, via DBT, via so many other schemes. Yet, Congress Siddaramaiah does not speak about all these
I'm afraid I'm running short of time. Mr. Gowda, I'll have to leave it at that. Many thanks to you for joining in with your insights. Appreciate your time. Now, with that, it's another controversy coming in from the state as Priyank Kharge has also stoked a controversy with his remarks on RSS. He says that RSS is the real anti-national, as they have never been for the constitution, and that if Congress comes to power at the centre, then they will ban the RSS. Listen in to what Priyank Kharge had to say.
Well, see, very clearly, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar in his last speech has defined who is an anti-national. He very clearly says that those who create animosity by bringing in caste and those people who are going to impede the social, political and economic progress of the country, they are the real anti-national. Those people who sow the seeds of communal hatred in the society are anti-national. Instead of asking tough questions to their political outfit about job loss, about manufacturing, about Pahalgam, about external affairs, what are they doing? They want to change the words of the constitution. They want to change the constitution. This is the narrative they want to bring in.
What kind of a strange demand, and on what basis is a senior Congress leader demanding a ban on the RSS and further comparing it with a terrorist organization? This is unacceptable. This is crossing every limit of political decency. It also confirms that the Congress party and its leaders somehow or the other want to divert attention, create or manufacture issues that have no basis, that have no legs to stand on, and perhaps it's to turn away the attention of the media from the problems they are facing in Karnataka and other places.
All right, it's time to slip into a quick break. Stay tuned to Nation at 5 as we return with the latest news and updates.
Brought to you by This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
And we are getting a piece of breaking news. EM Jaishankar calls out Pakistan in the United Nations. He said that any state-sponsored terrorism must be exposed. He said this at United Nations Anti-Terrorism Exhibition. Jaishankar urges global community to act against terrorism. That is a big statement that is coming in from External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, where he has called out Pakistan at the United Nations. And we are joined by Akansha Saroop on this broadcast. Akansha, that is a strong statement coming in from S. Jaishankar. How do you see this?
Absolutely. Harsh must keep in mind that he's directly taken a jibe, or he's directly indicated Pakistan's role in the Pahalgam terror attack when he said that no impunity should be given to terrorists, no treating them as proxies, no yielding to nuclear blackmail. This is exactly what even the US had hinted at, that there was a massive threat, which is why India had, there was an understanding also that had been made, and any state sponsorship must be exposed and must be countered. So important to highlight that the External Affairs Minister is making that point at the UN Assembly on anti-terrorism and urged the global community to act. He also referred to that resolution which was passed by the UN 5 weeks ago, condemning the terror act in Pahalgam on 22nd of April. So he wants to make a point to the UN, to the larger international community. It's also part of the broader push under Operation Sindoor, soon after our multi-party delegation went visiting across the globe. So important to also highlight that the Pak Army Chief Asim Munir was in the United States. He met Donald Trump, and Saturday at the naval parade, at the passing out parade of the Navy in Pakistan, he's gone on to talk about how what India may treat as terrorism is a legitimate struggle for them. They will continue to back terrorists diplomatically, militarily, in whatever way possible. So Asim Munir again, instigating the sentiments over there and playing the rabble-rouser that he has. So for the External Affairs Minister to make that point is a very significant one. It's also part of his visit where, remember, he's attending that Quad foreign ministerial meet at the behest of the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. And it's also a reminder to the United States that if they regard India as a strategic ally, one that is an integral partner to the United States in the Quad grouping, then they will also have to address concerns of India when it comes to terrorism, because remember, India is going to be playing the Quad chair this year.
Right. Akansha, I would request you to stay on with us as we are getting another piece of breaking news. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt on Monday confirmed that the United States and India are close to finalizing a trade agreement. Her comments came shortly after Trump voiced optimism about finalizing the trade pact with India. And we'll listen in to the White House Press Secretary's bite.
Yes, the president said that last week, and it remains true. I actually just spoke to our Secretary of Commerce about it. He was in the Oval Office with the president. They are finalizing these agreements, and you'll hear from the president and his team, his trade team, very soon when it comes to India.
And we have Akansha on this broadcast. Akansha, does this mean a trade deal is right around the corner between US and India?
Absolutely. And when they are saying that India is a strategic ally and that Donald Trump and Prime Minister Modi share a good relationship, Caroline Leavitt has also highlighted how she's been in touch with their Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, and he was in the Oval Office with the President finalizing agreements, is only an indication that perhaps they are in, at that point of finalizing the deal. Not to forget the fact, Harsh, most importantly, that Indian officials have also extended their Washington visit only to reach these agreements on the trade deal. They were supposed to finalize it by Friday last, but that we are being told has been extended. And remember, trade talks between India and US have been hitting roadblocks primarily over disagreements on import duty for auto components, steel and farm goods. India is not willing to cut much slack, especially when it comes to our agricultural products and dairy. These are two sectors that are extremely protected by the Indian government. We have protectionist policies here because India's government is, always looking out for the concerns of our own farmers, our own agricultural sector. We'll have to see how the Indian officials manage to sort of iron out these differences. And as I said, they were expected to conclude discussions by last Friday, but they are now staying on until at least today evening to iron out these differences and move towards an agreement. And remember, the July 9th tariff deadline is very close, and this is when the reciprocal tariffs of Donald Trump.
Welcome back. A citywide crackdown on end-of-life vehicles began today in the national capital as the government enforced a fuel ban for petrol and diesel vehicles that have exceeded their legal age limit. Under orders from the Commission for Air Quality Management, such vehicles will no longer be allowed to refuel at any petrol, diesel or CNG stations in the capital. CNN News 18's Anvit Srivastav brings us this report.
Starting July 1st, all vehicles older than 10 years that run on diesel and all more than 15-year-old petrol vehicles will not be allowed fuel on any petrol pump in Delhi. We are right now at Humayun Road HP petrol pump, and diesel vehicles over 10-year-old and petrol vehicles over 15-year-old will not be allowed to refuel in Delhi today onwards. A total of 350 petrol stations have been identified for policy enforcement and potential vehicle seizures. Not just that the petrol will be denied, but also the vehicles will be impounded if they are found to have been violating the life of the vehicle. This move was initiated by the Commission for Air Quality Management in collaboration with Transport Department, Delhi Police and traffic personnel in a bid to curb air pollution in national capital. You can see a board here at this petrol pump that clearly mentions that fuel will not be dispensed to end-of-life vehicles. We also have Anil Prasad ji, who is the supervisor of this petrol pump. Sir, क्या directions हैं government से जो vehicles आएंगे उनको आप लोग पेट्रोल और डीजल देने के लिए मना किया गया है?
जी हाँ सर, दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट ने हमें जो है एक जो लागू कर रखा है यहाँ पे, और यहाँ पे जो है सर्कुलर दे रखा है कि जो भी पेट्रोल और सीएनजी की गाड़ियाँ हैं 15 साल पुरानी होंगी उन्हें जो है कोई भी ईंधन और गैस नहीं मिलेगा, और जो डीजल की गाड़ियाँ 10 साल पुरानी होंगी उन्हें जो है डीजल नहीं दिया जाएगा। उसके लिए उन्होंने यहाँ पे ANPR करके कैमरे हैं जो ऑटोमेटिक नंबर प्लेट को स्कैन करते हैं, और वो जो है एक साउंड बॉक्स लगा रखा है जो कि उस गाड़ी का नेम प्लेट बताएगा, साथ में ये भी बताएगा ये गाड़ी जो है एक्सपायरी है। अच्छा। उसके बाद यहाँ पे जो है दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट ने जो है अपने जो भी कर्मचारी हैं ट्रैफिक पुलिस और पुलिस जो है यहाँ पे डिप्लॉयड कर रखी। हमारे जो भी अटेंडेंट हैं वो जो है उनको सबको बताएंगे ये गाड़ी जो है एक्सपायरी है, और वो अपने जो उनके पास जो मशीन है उसमें जो उसका नंबर डाल के उसको पूरा स्कैन करेंगे, उसके बाद जो है उस गाड़ी को रिस्पॉन्ड किया जाएगा।
The United States has dubbed India as a strategic ally in the Indo-Pacific region and highlighted very good ties between Prime Minister Modi and President Trump. Addressing the media, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that the trade deal between India and the United States was close to being finalized and that a formal announcement in this regard would be made very soon. Listen in to what the White House Press Secretary had to say.
Yes, the president said that last week, and it remains true. I actually just spoke to our Secretary of Commerce about it. He was in the Oval Office with the president. They are finalizing these agreements, and you'll hear from the president and his team, his trade team, very soon when it comes to India.
Just think back over the last 5 presidents of America: Clinton, George W. Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, back to Trump. 5 very different presidents. And yet, at the end of every presidency, if you were to do a dipstick on India-US relations, you'll find it's better off than it was at the beginning of that presidency. So it's not, relationships will never be free of issues, even I would say differences. I think what matters is the ability to deal with it and to keep that trend going in the positive direction.
India-US trade negotiations have entered the final lap before the 9th of July deadline. Officials have made it clear that there will be no concessions on agriculture and dairy, as these are red lines in the trade talks, and India has kept them out with other nations too in trade deals, including with the UK and in talks with the European Union. Sources also say that both sides are yet to come to an agreement on average tariffs. While US wants to impose 10% baseline tariffs as an average tariff rate on India, India wants zero duty access or at least preferential treatment compared to Vietnam, Indonesia, Bangladesh. Also, India wants an exemption from 25% US tariff on steel imports, but this is unlikely to happen. For the moment, the biggest issue is around agriculture and dairy, with Indian officials conveying that they may have to walk out if US persists with the demand that India should open up its agriculture and dairy sectors for US goods. But there is still hope that a deal may happen in the next 2 to 3 days. with the White House saying that President Trump and his team are working on trade deals with several countries and they will announce an update on India very soon. As of now, India's chief negotiator, that is Special Secretary Rajesh Agarwal, is still camping in Washington, D.C. for the final phase of negotiations. Indian officials have also indicated that India would strike a deal only if it's a win-win and serves our national interest. Otherwise, we are ready to accept a 26% reciprocal tariff come the 9th of July.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. The debate over constitution appears to be far from over. 3 days after RSS General Secretary Dattatraya Hosable pitched for the words of socialist and secular in the preamble that were added during emergency to be reconsidered, the showdown has escalated with a ban threat nonetheless on the RSS. Congress's other scion, Priyank Kharge, son of Congress Chief Minister in Karnataka and Minister in the State Cabinet, has threatened to ban the organization RSS if the party ever assumes power at the centre. Kharge attacked the RSS for being an anti-national organization, one that fuels toxicity and hate. Nothing new really as far as the view